Hey guys, how's it going? It's Etanyos here. Welcome to episode number 4 of this NHL 24 Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode here on my channel. Today we're going to be getting into the 2025 NHL Entry Draft, and we've got a ton of comments to go over from the last episode, so let's get to it. So guys, last episode I left you with the question of should we trade down in the draft, because we won the number 1 overall pick for the second time in 3 years. And last year we traded up, so we're going to have 3 number 1 players on our team potentially. I didn't actually look very closely at Cody Blake's stats, apart from the fact that he's 5'10", he's a little undersized, but he's a very good player. Like, you look at his stats across the board, he looks fabulous. He put up an insane amount of points, 116 points in just 66 games, which is absurd. As far as the comments go, I left you guys with a question, should we trade down? And there was a bunch of comments mainly saying, you know, like Halsey said, I think you should take the franchise player and then trade him for the 4th overall pick, get Spence, and also another prospect maybe, or the 5th overall as well. The franchise guy will have a lot more value than the 1st overall pick, so that's an interesting comment. Zach Deschalais said, don't trade down in the draft. You are guaranteed a franchise player if you can try to trade for a big power forward after. Anyway, Spence is a sniper, Bedard is already one. Trust me, bro, Blake looks nasty, and he can maybe package him. You can maybe package for a guy like Alex Tuch to go on the right side alongside Bedard. So there's like lots of options that we could do instead. User, I'm just going to say user here because I'm not going to try to pronounce the last part there. User said don't trade down. You will have the max trade bar and you can get more than for trading down, or I think you pick him and then play Blake, Bedard, Celebrini. So the only problem that I have with the Blake, Bedard, Celebrini line is that they're all a little bit undersized, just based on the fact that, you know, it's, you look at these guys, yes, Bedard and Celebrini are looking really good. They're starting to really roll and get on a roll as far as how good they're playing, but Bedard's only 5'10". Celebrini's only 5'11", so we would have a small line here. That's the one problem that I have with this, is that our first line wouldn't really have any size, which could be a problem in the playoffs. So I think at the very least what would happen is Cody Blake might end up on a different line than Bedard and Celebrini. That's the only other option I think we have here, honestly, if we do draft him. Tate Anderson said, I think if you have a chance of taking a franchise potential player, you take him and make it work. Him and Bedard probably won't go on the same line together, but you never know. Having 2 great players on a team, or having 2 great players like that on the same team can't be a bad thing. So yeah, you guys are all kind of trending in the same direction here. Braden Cream said definitely draft a franchise player. You should also draft Lars Backer. I believe he typed Baker. He meant Backer. And that GSB said draft him and trade. You get more value in that. So yeah, I think that is what's going to be the case, is we're either going to draft and trade or we're just going to draft him. But Lars Backer is the guy that Braden Cream was talking about. 1-year ETA, elite goalie. We're obviously going to add that. I'm also looking at this guy. Quentin Stamkos looks fabulous as well. So we'll be trying to draft him. And then we do have Matty Luomala and a couple other guys here. I would like to take Luomala because he's a gem, and he's got some good size, so he could potentially develop too. But apart from that, you know, there aren't a ton of players in the first round that I'm really like heavily set on. I know Puka looked good, but with pick 26, we're not going to be landing him. That's where our Toronto pick landed. So yeah, I don't think we're going to get Spence. I think what's going to happen is we are going to end up taking Cody Blake. And then I'm looking at this Kalle Gustafsson guy here too, who we could potentially take. I mean, we'll see how that one plays out. The other option is we take Par Albelin instead, who looks a little bit more, you know, NHL ready as far as his overall ratings and things like that go. Gustafsson looks like he's got a good shot, and he's a little bit bigger as far as size goes. But at the same time, you know, we already have some snipers. We've got Bedard. If we get Blake, Blake's probably going to play second line, which is fine by me. And then we still have a guy like Tarek Parashek in the system too. So the only other comment I did kind of want to get at here was Josh Queffin said, drafting a franchise player and trading him later could work well, but much like in real life outside of Korchinski, our defense is rather poor. It would be nice to be able to get a good young defenseman in a package for the number 1 overall pick. So that is another option too that we pursue here. The only defenseman that I am currently very interested in that we could potentially go out and trade for is Artyom Levshinov, who was drafted 6th overall by Philadelphia last year, I believe. And wherever he is, yeah, Philadelphia. And as far as Levchinov goes, he's in the system currently, 79 rated, 19 years old. Could play top 6 minutes. He is also still currently in the OHL on the London Knights. So that's obviously not entirely accurate, but if we could get him and the 4th overall pick with Spence, that would be a really good combo in my opinion, but we'll see if we can make that work. I don't think that's going to happen, honestly. And then I think that was it for comments, but starting off now with where our current position is at, I do just have one player that I want to run, a interview on. Most of the players are fine. We know who we're taking for the most part in this draft already. But yeah, this guy right here, Par Berglund, is one of the guys I want to run an interview on because I'm not sure if he's a lead or not. So we've got retiring players here. I'll just have to punch those numbers in quickly, but it looks like Voracek. We do lose Nick Foligno, so Foligno's one of our retirees. So maybe we'll try to sign him up as a coach, and then Troy Grosenick is the only player there that's, or only goalie there that retires. So yeah, not a huge retiree class this year. All right, so we definitely have some trades to make as we head into the draft here, but most of the trades are going to be involving lower end picks. It's not going to be a lot of like top end kind of talents and trades that we're making, even though, you know, I did play with the idea of doing that. I don't think we're going to actually make as many moves as I've kind of initially hinted at and intended. So that's going off of what you guys wanted and what you guys were expecting. So with Par Berglund here, we're looking at his strengths and weaknesses, just trying to figure out kind of what he does, how good he is, and if he is a lead or not, which I don't know if he is or not, so we'll have to just wait and see. So let's talk about his readiness. How far out are you? Honestly, 5 years. Okay, so, and then breakdown, offensive defenseman. Okay, so he might still be a lead. I'm not certain on that, but we also just have a lot of picks coming up here. I do want to try and trade for maybe like 1 or 2 more kind of like second round picks from what we currently have. If you look at where we're currently sitting with our picks, we have 1 and I believe it's pick 7 is the other pick there with Columbus's pick. And then we've got 26, which 26 I'm not super set on, but we could, you know, just pick higher as well potentially, because I would like to get Stamkos for sure. Stamkos is a player I could see us taking in the I could see us taking Stamkos with the 26th overall pick. That is an option. And then we have, I believe it's 34 and 30. No, we have pick 35 and 39. So with 35, we'd probably end up grabbing Backer, but I would like to get another pick or 2 in there because there's guys like Saric, there's guys like Luamala. So there are options. I just don't know how we're going to make a trade work here. So as we get into it, you know, we got the trade block here. We're not really going to try to trade too much here. Obviously, our top end's really developing nicely. A guy like, look at the development on Lucas Reichel this year. He puts up 49 points compared to his 23 last season, which was a career high. So yeah, he's taken massive strides as far as his development goes. So he's a guy that we could potentially play on the top line. So it looks like he's probably a better fit for the second line out of everything, but that is okay with me. So with that in mind, that's where we're currently sitting. We do have guys like, you know, Brett Pesce or Taylor Radish, guys like that we could potentially trade. Henry Muse didn't develop very well, neither did, actually Stewart developed well, but Parashak didn't either. So yeah, we've got options and pieces to try and kind of play with and move around. So yeah, the Philly and Chicago picks are nice and close together there. But yeah, let's get to the draft here. So first things first, we're going to call a timeout and just kind of not hold off the suspense on this pick because we know we're taking Cody Blake. But it's more so a matter of, yeah, we've got pick 1 and 7. And then we're looking to trade 26 probably, or we just hold on to 26. But what I would like to do is try and get another pick or 2 in here. So I think the Ottawa Senators would be a valid suitor for this trade. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to just view trades, see what's available here for pick. Yeah, we definitely want to grab 34, maybe 40 as well. I think we just go with 34, see what's available. Okay, so I'm actually going to go find a trade and just see what Ottawa's expecting for the 34th overall pick, because I would love to get that pick. That would just allow us to draft a couple more steals. We don't want pick 2. So they'd want Taylor Radish straight across, or Vinny Kaiser Entwistle, or 48 Kaiser Entwistle. I don't particularly want to trade those two assets. Pick 48 I'd be fine with letting go of. But let's just try our own kind of deal here too. So, what I'm going to try to slap together here is going to be, in exchange for pick number 34, I would trade pick numbers 46... Let's go 46, 48, and 71. Would that be enough? That should be enough. Okay, so the point of making this trade would be to get rid of some kind of like later second round picks, early third, and then we'd still be holding on to pick number 60, I believe it is, and with pick 60 we would be taking, I believe, what's his name? With pick number 60, we'd be taking that Berglund defenseman. So that trade goes through. We'll take it. It's a 3-for-1 kind of asset trade with the Senators. But in this range here, we've got picks number 34, 35, and then 39. So I think we can make something work there. The only other way I could see is, well, no, because what we'll do is we'll take Stamkos with the 26th overall pick. So that'll be our late first rounder because we didn't trade that. And then we'll go Backer and then Luomala with the next 2 picks, which I am totally okay with. So without further ado, let's get to it. Let's get this draft kicked off. So with the first overall pick in 3 drafts in a row here, the Chicago Blackhawks are pleased to select from the U.S. Eastern NTDP program left winger Cody Blake, and he is 82 overall. All right, nice. So that is probably one of the best players we're going to see drafted out of this entire franchise mode. 82 is quite a high rating overall. Sometimes those 82 rated players will fall to like a little bit further down the draft, like picks 3 or 4. But yeah, at 82 overall, can't really go wrong there. That's a great pick. So we'll continue on. Misa and Hagen go 2 and 3. Spence goes 4th to Philly. That makes sense. 5th overall, Roger McQueen gets drafted to the Canadiens, and then they get back-to-back picks, and they'll take Jordan Gavin with the next pick as well. Okay, so I think this sets us up very nicely with the 7th overall pick. So Cody Blake's going to wear number 50. So that's an interesting number. But I think this sets us up quite nicely to not take a sniper here, because we have Parashek, we have Cody Blake now, we have Connor Bedard, so that's 3 snipers that are just guaranteed setup. I was thinking about taking Gustafsson because he's a big left-handed sniper, but he does play on the left wing, and we already drafted a left-wing sniper now in Blake, so I think we're going to go with Par Elbelin here. I think he is just going to be a little bit better too. And then we can throw him straight into the AHL as well. So 79 overall, not bad at all there. Par Elbelin is going to be a great Chicago Blackhawk in the future. Where's number 14? And yeah, Gustafsson goes next there. So we'll simulate over to pick number 26 now. And with the 26th overall pick, no hesitation really, we are going to be taking Quentin Stamkos. But Tulola, very good pick there by the Calgary Flames. We knew he was elite. The Sharks get their goalie in Gabriel Daigle, 12th overall, so that is a great pick for them. And yeah, some other solid picks in there, but Daigle is probably going to be the steal of the draft. So, although we could take this goalie here in Andrew Tennell, who is a gem, no point in doing that yet. We're of course looking at Luomala and Backer with 34 and 35 on the pick board, but yeah, we'll take Quentin Stamkos off the board by a little bit here. And he's going to be 74 overall, and again at 6'5", 202 pounds, he's going to be a solid D-man for the future. So again, that's another great defenseman. So we'll simulate over to pick 34. I'm really hoping, okay, Tanel goes there, so that means that most of these picks should still be on the board. Let's see how this ended. All right, so yeah, the first round, a lot of misses there by teams. There are a lot of good prospects a little bit further down the board here. And we're not going to take Cam Pominville, even though he's a monster. Instead, we will go, again, we got 34, 35 back-to-back. So we'll take Lars Backer first, and then we'll take Matty Luomala after. I think that's just how it's going to play out. All right, so yeah, we'll go with Backer here. And he is a 74 overall elite goalie, 6'3", 188 pounds. Wears number 30, so that's awesome. And then with the back-to-back there, we will then go with... We could go with Rask, but I'm actually quite happy with the Stamkos pick we just made, and I don't think we particularly need another left-handed defenseman this early on in the draft, so I'd rather take the gem center in Matty Luomala. And he's 63 overall, so not a bad pick there either. And yeah, 2 second-round steals for sure here for the Blackhawks. All right, so we'll simulate over to pick number 39. And Rask and Saric and Pominville are the next 3 picks there, back-to-back-to-back. So, you know, we do miss out on a little bit of talent, but at the same time, there's another medium top 6 guy here in Alexei Nazarov, so we'll take him as well, just really strengthen the center depth and center core on this team even further. And he's 60 overall, so not bad at all, but, you know, not quite on the same level of talent as those other guys, so... Simulating over to pick 60. Again, this is still a second-round pick by the looks of it. It is indeed. All right, so with pick 60, we'll go off the board a little bit. It looks like we didn't get a scouting report on Ekberg because he's in the Allsvenskan. That makes sense. But we're going to go with the... We're not going to go with the gem low top 4 guy in Schuster. He's a little bit on the small side. We're going to go with this guy here, Par Berglund. Again, no guarantees that he's elite, but even if he's a medium top 4 defenseman, I'll be happy. I'll be a little upset if he's a top 6, but again, it's a 60th overall pick, and he is elite. Let's go. All right, that is a good pick. That is exactly what we wanted to see. So yeah, 46 overall. That's very solid. All right, so the 2 picks that we traded away to the Senators in exchange for Lars Backer became... Stu Mayura and Stanislav Teratukin, so no misses there. I mean, top 6 defenseman, but not an elite goalie, so I think we've definitely made the right decision so far. So now we're going to skip over quite a few picks, go over to pick number 96 here now. Looks like Emerton just gets picked off the board, so he looks pretty solid pretty solid pick there by the Lightning. And then the other pick, which was at 71, should be this one right here. Yeah, and Derek Hatcher, again, a top 9 forward. We didn't really lose out on anything trading for backers, so I'm quite happy with how that turned out. I am exploring a Levshinov trade. That is something we could potentially look at, but the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to trade away some later round picks. I'm talking particularly our 6th and 7th rounders, because I just don't see the need to even use these picks. I'd rather get a future pick back in exchange for these. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to try to just get a pick back here if we can. I'm looking for, like, Calgary's willing to offer a 3rd. I mean, I'll scroll through the rest of the trades, but I don't think too many other teams are just going to offer a 3rd round pick. So I would be quite happy with that Calgary trade. And yeah, by the looks of it, nobody's really offering too much. Schmid, yeah, we don't need Schmid, so... Anybody, Ottawa wants to offer San Jose's 3rd rounder. You know, that could actually be even better. So yeah, we can make 2 trades with the Senators here. I'd be happy with that. St. Louis, now I'm going to take San Jose's pick instead. All right, so let's do that Ottawa trade again. So we make 2 trades with the Senators here, but I am totally okay with that because, again, we're getting San Jose's 3rd rounder next year. All right, so yeah, we'll slap away those 2 kind of not great picks in exchange for future assets. And then this is the other trade I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm not sure if we're going to make this one, but it is quite an option here. So What I'm looking at is Artyom Levshunov, because I know he's a good defenseman. I know he's going to be good in the future. And he's got, drafted 6th overall, being a Belarusian defenseman with that size, that ability. We could use another guy in our system like that. Obviously, Philly isn't going to trade him for nothing, but at the same time, we're not trading any of those assets. Quentin Keeler is the one asset we could trade. We're not trading Brooks or Vlasic. We're not trading Korchinski. So the only trade I could see us making is probably this one. Although it is for 2 goalies, which I don't necessarily see the point in. The other thing, though, is we're not going to have Soderblom long-term in the system. As far as we have Lars Backer, we have Drew Comesso, we have, Keeler's spot has kind of been taken up already. So I don't see this as a bad trade option at all. I think we might actually just take this because, why wouldn't we? I know Keeler is a high asset goalie. He could potentially become a franchise goalie in the future. I don't know if we need a franchise goalie. What we do need is a good defensive core in front of our goaltenders. And I think Levshunov more so contributes towards that than anybody else that we currently have in the system, apart from, Brooks, Korchinski, Stamkos, those guys that are already there. So I don't think we hesitate on this. I think we pull the trigger. I know it's a big trade. I know it's a blockbuster trade at the draft, but I think we're going to make this work. All right, so let's take this trade. It's, huge assets being dealt either way, but at the same time, Keeler, he's up to 55 overall at 19. We took him 61st. Nothing crazy special there. Again, Pesce we just picked up out of free agency. He's played 1 season in Chicago and was kind of meh, so again, don't see a need, a super strong need to keep him around. Again, we've got multiple goalies. We got Bobrovsky, we've got Comesso as a backup potentially, so I think we absolutely make this trade. And there you have it. We acquire Artyom Levshunov, another very solid D-man, so our right side defensive core is absolutely locked down now. So yeah, we've got, wow, we've got assets galore here. So we could potentially play a Bedard on the right, Blake on the left, Celebrini in the middle. That could be quite the line. We also, could separate Blake and Bedard to have 2 fabulous lines in our top 6, which I think is probably going to be the case, but we'll just, have to wait and see a little bit longer. Apart from that, Parashik, Stewart, Berglund, those guys I'm not as crazy about, but they might still turn out. We'll see. We'll see what happens with their development curves. And then as far as pick 96 goes here, we are going to take Reginald Gore. Top 4, 19-year-old defenseman, and he is, well, of course he's top 4, but how good is he? He's 58 rated, okay, so not bad there at all. Can't really skate, but that's what happens with defensive defensemen in this game. His physicality and shooting is really good, though, somehow. So, all right, we'll go over to pick number 103. And at pick 103, we got a couple options here. We could go with, there's some starting goalies, but then there's also, we've got pick 126 as well. There's this Steves guy, there's this Novikov guy, there's Kolesnik, and then at 127 is Petri Risanen. I don't really want to take a risk on missing Risanen, so I think we're going to, risk it. We might end up with a top 9 player instead of a low elite winger. But I'm going to take, do we want to take a goalie asset? How's our goalie assets looking right now? I think we have a lot of them. So it wouldn't really upset me if we, yeah, okay, we've got some goalie assets. We don't have a crazy plethora of goalies. We've got 3 good goalies for future potential. But we're still just going to have to wait and see because we're not sure exactly who's going to turn out there and who's not going to turn out. So I think let's not miss on Risanen because we know he's an elite player. So we will take Petri Risanen over any of these goalies. And yeah, he's going to be a gem, so might as well take him. He's 49 rated, not bad. And then let's see if we can steal one of these goalies at pick 126. Novikov goes. Steves goes. All right, that is promising. So I think Kolesnik slipped. He did. Nice. Okay, so we will take Marcus Kolesnik with our last pick of the draft. 55 rated, medium starting hybrid. Not bad at all for pick 126 and our last pick of the draft. So we'll simulate the rest of the draft. I really don't care who else gets picked in this range because, again, even if there are steals, those guys are going to take years to develop. And look at the quality here is definitely lacking a bit. So I have no fear in just simulating the rest of this draft. But yeah, I really think it was quite a successful draft. So look at that prospect pool, man. That is... just stretch in celebration. What a fabulous draft. Cody Blake, obviously going to be the headliner of this draft. I'm really expecting an 80-plus point season out of him, especially with the team and assets we have around him at this point in the forward core. I would love to see him put up 80-plus points as a rookie. Stamkos and Back are about a year out, but give them time. They'll be there. And then same thing with Elbelin. I'm not going to rush him into the NHL as he is only 79 rated. But again, he's going to be our second line center, no doubt about it. And yeah, it's going to be scary here in Chicago as to just how good this team becomes. All right, so as we conclude that draft, I think it went very well. Show you guys just what we're dealing with here as far as how that draft is looking, or how it's looking after that draft. So I really did think we were going to get Spence and Gustafsson. That was kind of my initial reaction to how this was going to play out, but you know, if we end up having Bedard on the right wing, Celebrini playing center, and then Reichel on the other side, I'm good with that. That would be a very solid setup here as well. And I think if we move Reichel up, there's no problem with that. I do think, yes, Kurashev's going to end up on the left wing since we got Elbelin here. And then I think we can switch Celebrini to number... Well, he was actually dominant wearing 71, so I think we keep 71 on him there. Kurashev's going to be one of our alternates. I think that makes sense. Very solid center core there with, you know, Bedard sliding over to the wing. I think we play Cody Blake on the off wing. Have two franchise centers kind of wing to wing there, just on the right side dominating. And then, you know, we got Dzeko in there right now, Oliver Moore and Frank Nazar. I think that's going to be good as well. Currently for the defense, you know, I think Stamkos will probably slide down. We'll put Artyom Levshinov here. And I actually need to figure out what number he's wearing, because for retired numbers, Levshinov could wear 5 because number 9 is obviously taken up by Brett Hull, so we'll give him number 5. Stamkos supposedly wears number 34, and then Backer is going to be our starter there. So yeah, I'm very happy with how that's looking. I mean, Henry Muse can slide down, be like our sub kind of guy as the 7th defenseman. And then with just one trade for Levshinov, I think our team is set up quite nicely here. We will have Henry Muse is a guarantee in there. And then, yeah, we are still missing 2 forward positions and a center and a right winger. I'm okay with that. I think that's still going to take a little bit more time. And then, you know, we got Frank Nazar in 22. Same with Korchinski. And I do think, yeah, Korchinski, Kurashev, and Bedard will end up being our future leaders there. But that is what we're looking at currently for this planning setup. Okay, so now that that draft is done, I think we are ready to go and jump into this offseason, get some signings done, and get this team really set up for success. So, Lionel Gallinardi, not Gallinardi. Lionel Galliardi, we are definitely going to look to try and improve, get a coach with better teaching, because yes, he won a Jack Adams, who cares? The offense has very obviously come through based on the fact that he's just maxed out. He's the best offensive coach we could have, but he's also a generalist, so that makes it for a little bit more of a tricky setup. They really don't like Clarence Drieger is just not getting along with too many, or he doesn't get along with Trotter at least. So that is what it is. Looks like none of our coaches really are too happy with the current setup of the team. So what we'll do for now is we'll sign Gagliardi, but he's going to get fired off pretty quickly here. I do see that. Kind of that is in the cards here for the future. Nelson Trotter, I think we are going to hold on to just because he looks good. Maybe let's not go 1.2 million, but let's go like $1 million for him for the next 3 years. That should get him to accept that position. We could go Cunning as well, but what is he? Is he a generalist? Yeah, he is a generalist. We don't necessarily need him. We don't necessarily need Drieger, so we'll just hold off for now on those guys. We do need an AHL head coach, which apparently nobody wants to be the AHL head coach, which makes no sense because the Rockford Ice Hogs were actually pretty good. Were they not? They were okay. They weren't like special. They finished 19th and barely made the playoffs and got knocked out in round 1. So yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, and then I guess we can sign Ebbett as the goalie coach, pay him a little more. And then we got scouts, which, scouts are always going to be a little bit expensive because we got a lot of them. All right, so that is it for scouts and coaches. Now we just have some, some expiring contracts that we got to fulfill here. I think Patrick Kane probably should be one of those contracts, simply because he did have a solid season, 78 points in 82 games. That's still really good for a 36-year-old. So let's definitely hold on to him. He's not actually going to be that expensive either, which is extremely nice. I do think we sign him just to a 1 year again because we've got to pay Korchinski, Bedard, and who else is coming up here? Frank Nazar as well. I always say Nazar, it's Nazar, but yeah. Apart from that, I could see Levchinov playing for our team this upcoming year. Depends on if he actually develops well or not. Of course, Corey Brooks is going to be good too. It's just going to take him a little bit of time. And then of course we just need better coaching staff. I think that's kind of the main problem right now as to why our team's ending up so front heavy, is that we just don't have the defensive coaching that we really need to get this team to that next level. I am super excited about Cody Blake. I think he's going to be awesome, but again, just going to take a little bit of time for him to really hit his stride. And all right, let's get to some contracts here. So first things first, we're going to sign Patty Kane to another 1 year deal. That'll be 1 year. We'll go 7.5. Yes, I know he wants to sign, but we've got excess money right now. We are going to be offering contract extensions coming up pretty soon. As far as Jeff Carter goes, he might be one of those guys that we sign just simply as a, not a leftover piece, but just like a, what do you call it? We'll sign Jeff Carter as a cap dump kind of move. Sign Athanasiou as well, and then of course, Cody Blake going to be the main name that we're signing up this offseason. We'll get our depth pieces in here, guys like Mackenzie Entwistle, who's cheap, and Colin Blackwell, who should be cheap. Yeah, okay. So we get those two guys signed up. Par Elbelin is going to get signed, but he's going to go to the AHL immediately. I think he's going to get better development there as a 79 overall player. Joel Armia, again, super cheap, super easy to sign up. And then look at the expiring contracts down in the A there. That's gonna be something to deal with for sure. Wyatt Kaiser will sign. 900K is fine for him. Michael Tepley, same thing. Pay him, 900's fine. Reese Johnson, sure. Gonna hold off. Oh, we might sign Stamkos actually. He could get development, but we need to just shore up the coaching down there before we actually make any other swift kind of moves to sign a guy on early or anything like that. Yuri Felkman will sign up here quickly. He looks pretty good. I think I'm going to hold off on Oscarsson. Milton Oscarsson just, you know, he's big, but that's about it. Peltonen, again, we'll hold off on. We've got defense, so I'm not super worried about that. Misiak's got some potential, so we'll sign him. Same with Sorella. 850k should be fine there. Ferrand, again, the power forwards just have got no real potential, unfortunately. And then as far as goalies go, we'll get Stauber and Mrazek for now. I think that's the right call. 1.4 for the next 2 years, and then Jackson Stauber for 1 year. That should be good. I am thinking about signing up Emil Vinny to the AHL. He didn't really see a lot of change in game time, ice time, that kind of stuff. If anything, it actually got worse over there with HIFK. But, you know, can't always be great. So, let's advance a day or two, see who signs up the contracts, who doesn't. And, you know, Gagliardi we might not fire necessarily, but we might look to find a very solid defensive teaching right-hand man as an associate coach for him, because that's, I think, more what our team could use than anything here. So, Mrazek, Athanasiou don't sign. We get Entwistle, Blackwood. We don't get Armia. Okay. We do get Patrick Kane, and again, Cody Blake's very similar. We get lots of prospects signing there. So the only expiring guys are really the guys that weren't happy with the team's performance last year. So that makes sense. Let's go 1 year at $3.5 million for Andreas, because he just doesn't want to play here, obviously. Joel Armia should be fairly cheap, but we can get him for $975, and that should be enough. And then let's advance one more day before we throw a Jeff Carter deal down. And it looks like, yes, Joel Armia re-signed and Andreas Athanasiou re-signed. So that leaves us just with Jeff Carter and $31 million worth of cap space. So really, we could turn this team into a winner right now, just through free agency more than anything. I just don't know if that's entirely the right play. I just want to see who is still pending as a free agent here. Are there any big names? Brad Marchand, yeah. Steven Stamkos. Okay, so there are options. How is Stamkos a playmaker? He is absolutely a sniper. What are you talking about? Yeah, like, what? Stammer's a playmaker all day. No, not a playmaker. Stammer is a shooter all day, but okay. How about other potential players? Not too much else apart from those top 4 or so, but like 490 rated guys is pretty insane. And you look at their current contracts, Brad Marchand was cheap, same with Stamkos, Burns, and Theodore, so all of those guys are going to be wanting $10+ million. I think, I want to say if we got Shea Theodore, it would really shore up this team's ability. He fits on D pairing 3, so that's not great. Yeah, none of those forwards really fit our coaching system, which is too bad. But at the same time, you know, we could look at slightly cheaper options, guys like Kuzmenko or somebody like that. Like, there are options for what we could play with. Bring Corey Perry back, that's not happening. Absolutely not happening. But Taylor Hall would be one that we could bring back. You know, we did trade him to Carolina, and that didn't really change much. Didn't go over poorly, but didn't go over particularly well either. Yeah, okay. Let's just take a look at our depth chart. Or I guess, yeah, we'll have to go to contracts to see that, but I don't know why NHL doesn't have a depth chart option here. So anyways, for forwards, you know, we're good. We've got, let's see, that's our top 6 above the yellow line, so not bad. Top 9 looks really good too. And then, you know, the bottom end of our team is a little bit weaker, but it's really not that bad at all. So I think, yeah, let's sign Jeff Carter, go 1 year max deal, just to, you know, again, burn money, save it for our players to develop. So we'll go 18 million. Call it a day there. That's most of our salary cap, and I am fine by that. So yeah, we'll slap that big contract on Jeff Carter. Again, pay him out. Why not? We probably should be paying Patty Kane that kind of money, but oh well. Again, that's going to all get dispersed between our future stars here, our really top-end prospects. And all right, let's advance one more day. Obviously, Jeff Carter's going to re-sign at $18 million. And all right, let's hit free agency and just see, kind of where we stand in the market. This guy could be all right. Jim Broit-Cruz. He's a B- coach, so definitely something we could look at for a role. He wants to be an AHL head coach, but you know what? If we offer him just under $1 million or so to be a AHL assistant, he might actually take that. So we'll see. I think it would be a better gig for him than what any other team could currently offer. The other thing I want to do is go in and get a half decent goalie coach here. One that's like a C-ish rating, that still has A-rated teaching for goalies, so I don't think that's going to be doable, unfortunately. Alright, the best goalie coach there is a C. That's not great. Alright, I guess we'll go with like a D-rated coach here and go for a NHL goalie coach and pay him like $550K. Sure, why not? Yager should take that. I don't see why he wouldn't. And then I do want to just go look at our staff and see what we have for our current kind of spread of coaching ability. And all right, what are we looking at here? So I'm absolutely getting our coaching staff locked in for the next season. Okay, so what we've done is we've gone out and found the best teaching coaches for defensemen in the NHL, because that's just what we need. We don't have the budget to pay $6 million for a coach, which is fine, but we are paying about $1 million or so, which also is going to work for me. And then the other thing we just want to look at here is an AHL associate coach, preferably, that's got, again, good teaching as far as defensemen go. But that's going to be hard to find, apparently, as well. Alright, so no defensive coaches? None? Really? Oh, there we go. Oh, that's all. That's why. Okay, what about associate coaches with good teaching? There is one B- defensive guy there. So we'll pay him a little lower than the role, but pay him a good chunk of money. Or pay him a bit more money, at least. So we'll see if we get Will Rathje. If we don't, that means maybe, our defense doesn't develop quite as well in the AHL, which means that we, keep guys like Quentin Stamkos out of the lineup. How are we doing on budget fit? Currently we got 5 roster spots. Okay. So really the only thing I think this team could look at is maybe a defenseman. With $14 million, we could absolutely look at a defenseman. I think Shea Theodore would be the guy. The only question I have is who is offering him that 7-year deal. Seattle. Seattle's probably more likely to get that deal to go through. Whereas, let me just look at our roster a little bit more. Yeah, we could probably use 1 to 2 more NHL level D-men, just simply because, yes, Korchinski, Vlasic are both ready. They're good to play, but at the same time, Brooks and Levshinov, they need the development time, but at the same time, as top 6 level guys, they need a steady rock of a defenseman to play alongside of them. And that's where I think, Brooks will probably end up with Korchinski. But on the other side, we could roll with this defense. It would be bad for another year, no doubt. But at the same time, it wouldn't be that bad. And we could definitely secure Comesso as a backup with that contract. All right. What are we looking at here for Korchinski? Oh, beautiful contracts. These are beautiful prices on these contracts. How about Nazar? Oh, man, we are in for a beautiful rebuild here in Chicago. I know, Bedard, you're under 10 mil. You're under 10 mil as a 90-rated 19-year-old who has put up 169 points in 164 NHL games. Okay, then let's just stop up here and let's sign all of these contracts right now. So we've got Connor Bedard, Kevin Korchinski, Frank Nazar, Drew Comesso. Those are 4 big names in the Chicago rebuild here. Wow. My goodness, we are going to have such a nice time rebuilding this team because nobody's going to be excruciatingly expensive. So let's start off with this Bedard contract. I want to pay him $9.675 million. I don't even care that we could pay him less. I think we just take that price point and shut our mouths and realize what a deal we're getting here. That's crazy. Under 10 mil for Bedard, I'm not even questioning it. I know we probably could have saved more money on that deal. I don't care. I simply do not care. Kurashev's expensive. 6.35 is a pricey contract, so that might be one we move on from eventually, but also, it's really not that bad. Wow. Oliver Moore for 2 mil. I know you guys have made it clear to me in other series that, kind of, what's the word? Playing contracts like this can affect and stunt player development if you don't do it right, but I'm kind of not worried in this situation. Like 6.4 million for Korchinski feels like an absolute steal. And I know you guys are probably screaming at me like, use the rule of 85, use the rule. And yeah, we could, but do I feel right paying Korchinski 5.44 million? No, I don't. I feel right paying him 6.4 million because he's 86 rated at 21 years old. We're going to take that all day. Pay him exactly what he wants. Don't even question it because it's a stupidly cheap contract. We could pay Nazar 2 years and try to develop him further, but really, if we go, we'll probably go just under 2.6 here. We'll probably go like 2.4. Let's go 2.3. 8 years, 2.3 mil for Nazar. I would be absolutely just jumping with joy for that contract. Comesso's going to be cheap, and then Oliver Moore for 8 years, because again, he's going to break into the NHL as soon as 2 seasons from now. We're paying him regardless. He wants 2.075. It's under a $2 million contract. That's fabulous as well. Let's just go 1.8 for that. Again, super cheap. And yes, maybe we are lowballing these guys a little bit, but we're trying to win a championship here in Chicago. So under 2 mil for, yeah, let's just pay him the 1.95 or whatever. 1.95 I am happy with. I know it's a little bit of an overpayment by 0.25 million or whatever. I don't care. He's going to be our backup goalie for the next 8 seasons, pretty much a decade. So, all right. So, in total, for those, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 key piece players and extensions of players that are all under 22 years old, or 22 years old at the oldest, we're only paying $22.125 million. That is insane. That is insane what we just offered. We just saved so much money if those guys sign the contracts. If they don't, oh well. Let's go. What does he want for 2 years? 11? I'll go 11.25 just to really make sure we get Shea Theodore. I don't know if we will, but I'm going to try him. I know that's a fairly large contract for a 90 rated defenseman, but again, we are a little bit weak on the back end right now with this team, and I think we could definitely improve it. So with Theodore, that's a good signing. We could go with Cody Ceci. Again, he probably wants too much term for what we're looking for. Chris Tanev, on the other hand, we could sign fairly cheap. I just don't know. We just gotta wait and see if Shea Theodore signs his contract or not, as well as, you know, the other coaches that we've offered contracts to. So let's hold off here. Broik Cruz didn't want that job. Great. Okay, that's tough. Same with Rathje. Potentially toxic environment. That's oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. So not great on the coaching staff there so far. We do get Wojtek Jager there. Or Yager. Because he is a goalie coach, which will help Drew Commesso grow. But we still need that defensive coach, which is gonna be a bit of an issue. So, ooh, Calgary. Calgary, you're too nice. No, actually, like, this is, yeah, we're taking that. I'm sorry. I know you guys love Blackwell, as far as Chicago fans go. But 2 second rounders. 2 second rounders going to a Calgary team that has not placed in the playoffs. Or, sorry, they didn't place in the playoffs last year. They placed in the playoffs 2 years ago. No way we're not taking that. All right, so no need to question that offer. That was perfect. All right, and then we need more coaches. And let's advance one more day. We get Drew Commesso at $1.95 million. We get Oliver Moore at 1.8. We get Frank Nazar at 2.3. Those are huge contracts. And then we do get Jim Broik Cruz as well. Connor Bedard accepts at $9.675 million, under $10 million. That's insane. I hope it really doesn't stunt his development, because if it does, we might have some issues with that. And we do get Kevin Korchinski at $6.4 million as well. And Shea Theodore does not sign with us. He goes to the LA Kings. That was kind of expected. All right, so Chris Tanev it is, as our, oh, that's Cody Ceci. All right, Chris Tanev it is as a 1-year, $4.6 million contract. And then where's the lefty? Let's go, yeah. All right, so we'll sign Tanev and Lindell. That should be it for what we need. And I think we're good to advance to the next season. All right, guys, so for this upcoming season, we've sold 95% of our tickets, essentially, for season tickets, so that's awesome to see. And as far as owner goals go, let's see, where is it? I don't know why we're signing, I guess we're signing a goalie, like an extra backup. Our owner's not happy right now, so we are definitely going to need to focus on those goals a little more. But we need to get 19 road wins, sell out 39 home ice games, and then boost team chemistry to 71. Okay, so not difficult goals necessarily. Okay, guys, so this is the lineup we're going to run for this third season here of this franchise mode. Obviously, things might change around a bit as we continue on. Very likely the move will be that Kane slides up to the top line, and then Blake ends up on the second eventually. Cody Blake obviously is going to take some time to develop still. We do have some rookies this year, apart from Blake and Oliver Moore, Colton Dock, and Frank Nazar all entering the NHL. We are going to have to change Nazar's number because he should be wearing 22, but right now I believe Zaitsev is wearing 22. So we've got number 5 on Levshinov. We also have other guys like Lindell and Tanev on the team this year for the first time. Brooks and Korchinski will be our top pairing, even though they don't fit the system particularly well. We'll be looking into that, seeing if we can find any solutions to how we're going to manage that, because, you know, we do have Vlasic here, who's a very solid defenseman. $4.7 million is a great contract for him as well. As far as the special teams units go, we've got a really good first power play unit there. Obviously, that might switch around a little bit, but it's not a bad second unit here either. With guys like Korchinski, Blake, Reichel, Kurashev, like it's going to be a good team still, just not yet probably. And then yeah, the second four-man power play is not very good there, but that's okay. Feel free to pause as I'm just going to kind of spam through these. These are the PK units. Again, our team's going to be pretty bad on the PK this year still, just because we don't quite have that right coaching fit. I did mess around with the 4-on-4 lines a little bit, so they are exactly how I want them. Same with 3-on-3. Again, feel free to pause, but it's very similar kind of builds and setups here with how we're going about this. We are going to have Bedard as the third shooter, I think. Actually, let's put him as second just because. Goselli 1. No, Patty Kane 1. For sure, Patty Kane 1. All right, so yeah, that's our team. Look at the goaltending, though. Like, this is what I'm actually surprised about, is that Bob's good, but then Camesso got way better, like way better this year. His .921 save percentage was obviously fabulous. His one game in Chicago, he got a shutout, which is crazy. But yeah, we'll have to just keep an eye on him because he's looking really good. I do believe he's supposed to be wearing 29 as well. And I did have just a couple kind of quick issues with this team, but currently, yeah, Par Elbelin is going to be our number 1 center in the system there. We'll see if he can actually develop and turn into something. That would be great if he could. If he can't, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but as a 7th overall pick, you kind of expect him to. Apart from that, we don't have too much craziness going on down here in the system with our defense. It could be better, but it also could be a lot worse too. And then we got Stober in net, and then Kennens is the backup, I guess. I don't know where Peter Mrazek went. I thought we had another year on his contract, but I might have miscalculated that, so that could be on me. I thought for sure. Okay, whatever. I thought for sure that we had I thought for sure we had Peter Mrazek in the system, but I guess not. So we'll sign Emil Vinny up to a contract. Might as well do that. He is 19 now, so he will be playing in the system. Henry Muse jumped up to a 78 overall, so that is awesome to see. I was not expecting him to be that good that quickly. Nicholas Stewart is up to a 68 overall at 19 as well to start this season. So yeah, we definitely have some good defensemen in the system. As far as wingers go, there's not quite as much. I mean, Lardis and Parashak are kind of the two high potential guys. Dzeko's looking pretty good, but again, give him time. The left wing probably could use a little bit of work in the system. Same with the centers aren't bad, but again, not a ton of options and potential there. So yeah, again, just keep an eye on guys like Henry Muse, because he might be in the team sooner than we anticipated, which is awesome. But yeah, we've got some big name players signed up to contracts now, which is really fun to see. And then the only other thing we're going to just mess around with here a little bit is the captaincy, because I do believe this is Connor Bedard's team now. Obviously, Patty Kane's still going to be great, but I think we just hold off and give him the alternate, while Bedard probably deserves the captaincy at this point. So, Oliver Moore has number 46 on. Don't ask me why, I couldn't tell you. We're going to give him number 10, as Taylor Radish is currently wearing number 11, so yeah, he'll wear 10. Cody Blake's got 50 on. Colton Dach I thought for sure would have like number 17, so I guess we could do that. Yeah, let's do 17 for him. And then Nazar, we're going to switch around with Zaitsev. That'll be a quick swap, and then we'll just move Zaitsev down to like number 20, I guess. Yeah, that works for me. Go 20 instead of 25. And I think that's pretty much it for numbers. Of course, 29 should be Cameso's number instead of 31. I don't know why it switches the numbers around again, but it does. And all right, I think we are ready to go with this team. All the numbers look pretty much correct. Obviously, 23 would be Lindell's number, but Kurashev's wearing it, so that's not going to change. And okay, I think we are good to go with the team here. So guys, just before we finish off this episode, I just want to introduce you to the new players properly, because there are quite a few guys in this system that you haven't actually gotten to see as Chicago Blackhawks yet. Particularly Frank Nazar is one of those guys. I'll show you the Oliver Moore build quickly too. But this is Frank Nazar. Yeah, he should be good. I'm really excited to see how he turns out. So yeah, I'm not going to make any changes there. We're going to let his X factors develop naturally. Same thing with a guy like Cody Blake. We're not really going to... I might change around like the odd tape job or something here, but overall, you know, I'm pretty happy with how he looks too. Let's see, what's he using? Is that a Bauer? He's got 4 separate pieces of equipment here. Okay, I guess we'll just stick with that. He does look a little funky with the way his equipment is displayed, but that's okay. And then he's got the patchy beard, but yeah, he looks really good. And of course, the full beard in the playoffs makes sense. So yeah, keep an eye on Cody Blake. He's going to be a fun one to keep an eye on, and hopefully he'll be really good. Never fights, which also makes sense. And yeah, that is Cody Blake. Apart from that, we got, you know, Artyom Levshinov, who you guys have probably seen highlights of him by now. If you haven't, then you're probably not a huge hockey fan, but yeah, he's going to be good wearing number 5. I could have sworn we had maybe we didn't have a different face for him. Okay, well, that's Levshinov. It looks like I meant to select a different face and didn't, but it is what it is. And then Oliver Moore is the last one here, apart from like Colton Dach, who will probably change the tape job on. And yeah, that's Oliver Moore. I got him listed as number 41, which Isaac Phillips is wearing, so I think what we'll do is we'll go in, change the detail, change him to we'll change him to number 10 because Henry Muse is coming up and actually looks really good. He should be wearing number 11, but yeah, we'll go 10. I think Moore's going to be fine wearing number 10 still. He looks really good in it, so yeah, the final player here is Colton Dach. Again, we've got him as number 17. I don't know what his listed number was, if it was 20 or not. No, it was 17. Okay, perfect. And then I'm just going to do a little gear research on him and make sure that we set that up properly. So it looks to me like he's more of a CCM guy, which is all good by me. He uses the triggers more than anything else, so let's give him a trigger. Give him the toe tape, or the no toe, I guess they call it. And then swap over to the skates, which he's got like black. I think he's got trues on actually there, so we'll do that. He's got the full like skate tuck as well, which is all good with me. Glove wise, he's got the CCM jet speeds on, so those ones. And then helmet, it looks like he does have the Bauer helmet on. Okay, perfect. So that is Colton Dach. And then apart from that, we got Drew Commesso, which again, Commesso is Commesso. Apparently I've got him listed as number 31. He should be number 29, but you know, it is what it is. He's got the Chicago pads on already, so yeah, he's looking good. And yeah, I'm excited to see how good Commesso can actually be for this team, considering he's 85 rated at 23 years old. That's very solid. So yeah, that is all our new players. That is where we're gonna leave it off for this episode. I will just show you guys the draft class very quickly, but obviously some top end talent there in Gavin McKenna and Ryan Rubrick, two really good Canadians, but then we got 4 defensemen out of the next 5 picks after that, from 3 to 7. So there is potential for us to snag another defenseman, potentially an elite guy, but we'll see where we actually end up. Obviously the game is currently projecting us to be in that 11 to 14 range for picks, so maybe we don't get quite as good a D-man, but we'll have to wait and see. As far as the best goalie goes in here, looks like Korobov is the best one. So yeah, that's the draft class coming up. Again, we'll get all the scouting done in the next episode, but that is it for this one. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to go down below, show your support with a like, subscription, notification, and of course, feel free to leave comments about the next episode. But yeah, that is going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time.